question number 6. Let's keep on working on long division. And note one important thing. Again, we don't have an x squared term here. We have x cubed, we have x, we have the constant term, but no x squared term. So for long division, it really helps if we just put in 0x squared right in between the x cubed and the x to make things nice, easy, and clean. So let's get started. And the first step will be to divide 3x cubed by 3x, and we get x squared. And once we have that, of course, we can just multiply it by 3x squared and by minus 1, so we get minus x squared. Fantastic. So now we can just subtract both these elements from the elements above. 3x cubed minus 3x cubed is 0. Then 0x squared minus negative x squared is just x squared, because 0 minus negative 1, there's a hidden 1 here, of course, becomes 0 plus 1, because minus a negative makes a plus. And at this point we can now bring down the x. Now what do? We have x squared and we need to divide it by 3x. What is x squared divided by 3x? It's just going to be x over 3, or essentially 1/3 times x. So that's what I'll plug in here. This is going to get a little messy because we're going to have some fractions, but hopefully no one's scared of fractions. So 1/3 x times 3x is x squared. Then 1/3 x times minus 1 is minus 1/3 x. And at this point we're going to subtract these elements. X squared minus x squared is 0. And x minus negative 1/3 x will be 4 over 3x. The 0 we can just essentially scratch out. And why is that? Why did I get 4 over 3 here? Well, I had a 1x, right? There's a hidden 1 over here. And I subtracted a negative number, so we're adding instead. 1 plus 1/3. Well, we need a common denominator. So multiply the 1 by 3 over 3. So we get 3 over 3 plus 1/3. And that's just 4 over 3, of course. Great. Now I can finally bring down the minus 2. And we'll divide 4 over 3x by 3x to get our final number here, our last number. So 4 over 3 divided by 3x, 4 over 3x divided by 3x is just going to be the same as 4x over 3 times 1 over 3x. The x's are going to cancel out. Let me just grab a different color here so that I don't confuse anyone. Now 4 times 1 is 4, and 3 times 3 is 9. So we get 4 over 9. And that's what I'll plug in over here. Okay, so 4 over 9 times 3x is just 4 over 3x. And 4 over 9 times negative 1 or minus 1, that's minus 4 over 9. Perfect. At this point we can finally subtract these elements. These will cancel out. Then we will have negative 2 minus negative 4 over 9. And that will be our remainder. When we subtract a negative number, we're essentially adding it. And the negative 2 is equivalent to negative 18 over 9, because we need a common denominator between 1 and 9 to add the fractions. And of course I just multiplied the 2 by 9 to get the 18. So negative 18 plus 4 is negative 14. And the 9 just stays down at the bottom as the denominator. So this is our remainder. Wow, I ran out of room here. Remainder, negative 14 over 9. And I left myself very little room to write the division statement. So let's see where I can do that. I'll do it up top here, hopefully. Or actually I'll just erase some of this stuff. 1 second. Hopefully nobody's gonna fall asleep in the process. So we have 3x cubed plus x minus 2 equals 3x minus 1 times our quotient, which is x squared minus 1/3 x plus 4 over 9 plus the remainder, which is negative 14 over 9. And that's it.